Hey, everybody. My name's Steve Novelli. I am a business development representative here at Wasatch Crest. Fairly new. Been here coming up on a month now. But yeah, I am someone that is in long term recovery myself, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit about my story and a little bit about me personally. I am extremely blessed to be a part of the Wasatch Crest team now. We are a residential drug and alcohol treatment center located in Heber City, Utah. We help treat individuals with substance use problems, alcoholism, and underlying mental health issues. It's an amazing facility. I'm blessed to be in a part of an amazing team. Ultimately, it's somewhere that I know that if I were to relapse, I would want to be there. But you know, yeah. So I've been with Wasatch Crest now a little under a month. I've worked in the industry now for coming up on 3 years. I've been sober three years, and probably I don't know. Time is irrelevant to me now, but yeah, I've been sober probably close to 3.5 years now. I'll give you a little bit of background about who I am and, what it was like for me in addiction, but I want to first off, and I want to emphasize the fact that, my addiction is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. It just so happens that I do identify as an alcoholic, but that's due to the fact of the program that I work. And just to let you guys know that my alcohol does come in many forms. And as of recently, and as of, in my sobriety, my alcohol comes in the form of behaviors. So, I'm just here. I want to share my story with you. And yeah, so I am 28 years old now. First got I first got introduced to recovery at a really young age. It wasn't me that wanted to go through treatment. I went through treatment when I was about 16 years old. Not by choice. It was definitely not a choice of mine that I wanted to do. It was ordered by a judge. But yeah, and I've had my fair share of struggles in between there. I first started using when I was 12 years old. Just the occasional whatever we could really get our hands on as a 12-year-old kid. I was born and raised in a city called Yonkers, New York, right outside of New York City. It's right next to the Bronx, so if you ask me where I'm from, I always say the Bronx just to make things easier. So yeah, growing up, I thought things were somewhat normal. Now that I look back at my addiction years, now that I've been sober, I can really tell from a young age. I can really sit here and really go back to my behaviors as a child and know that my addiction stemmed at a really young age in the form of behaviors and defiance and really all these things that I just wanted more of everything at a young age. No matter what, no matter what was no matter what it is that in my active addiction, no matter what it is that I had in front of me, I wanted more of it, and the chase for the next was the most important. So yeah, I've been sober 3.5 years now. It's been an amazing 3.5 years for a number of reasons. I've been through treatment so many times. I've been in and out of the 12-step meeting rooms, and nothing really ever resonated with me. Nobody ever really wanted, I never really wanted recovery. Everyone else around me wanted it for me. So coming into recovery this time, it was definitely something where I came in here with one person by my side, and that was my dad. But, other than that, really, I had no support. I had a bunch of using friends that I had just screwed over. So I really didn't have really anything to my name. I had a book bag full of clothes, a big book that I've had throughout the years that I've used for the worst reasons possible, and I just decided it was time to get help. I've been in and out for so long, and I even at first I really didn't want to stay sober. You know, my first initial reaction to wanting to go to treatment was I wanted to get off methadone and be a better drug addict and alcoholic. I just wanted to be better at it. I wanted to learn the ways to get off that drug that I had to line up at the clinic for every morning and just be better in all the other aspects of my life, you know? And that's just really what it was, you know? I was someone that had a lot of adverse effects from my using, homelessness, prison, loss of relationships, pretty much everything, you know? I mean, I've dealt with it all, and all the adverse effects from my using never really was an issue for me, you know? Growing up as I started, progressing worse and worse in my addiction, I always thought that the new drug or the new thing that I tried was always referred to by myself as the answer to all of my problems. It wasn't really, I didn't look at it as a problem. Like I like to sit here and say, like, the only time that I tried a drug for the first time and I knew it was a problem was primarily one of my drugs of choice, which is crack cocaine. I emphasized after doing it for the first time, I knew it was going to be a problem. I just had that feeling. But that was the only time in my life that I ever figured that this drug or this drink was going to be a problem. So yeah, I grew up in New York City, pretty much normal family, lower class income, not much. Dad worked a lot. Mom and dad got divorced at a really young age. I had sexual trauma at a really young age, so the trauma aspect and the mental health aspect is a huge part of my story. Primarily another huge part of my story is suicidal ideation and really just not wanting to live and finding ways to really just not really want to feel. And that was really where my addiction stemmed from. I did not want to feel anything. I did not want to feel good. I did not want to feel bad. I just wanted to be numb. And I wanted to be numb for a really long time, and that was primarily all of the time. It was just it. Thinking back on active addiction, it's living in this misery. It's hell. It's being a walking zombie on earth and just being okay with it. I just don't know. Like, now that I look back and look at the person that I was in active addiction, yeah, it's definitely like, how could you be that way? And so on and so forth. But, all the guilt and shame could pop back up really quick. But ultimately, at the end of the day, my addiction is what shaped me to be the man that I am today. So I can't really sit here and say anything negative about my active addiction. Yeah, the adverse effects, so on and so forth. But primarily for me, personally, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, because I would not be the person that I am today if it wasn't for addiction recovery and everything else. So really, when I first got this time around when I got sober, I really didn't want to. I wanted to get off methadone and really progress in the other aspects of my addiction and, really just move on. There was a flame that was lit under me at some point, though. I was in a residential treatment center for a decent amount of time, like over 100 days. All these things started to come back, like people, my family, my dad actually wanting to talk to me every day, and, like the connections to the people around me, and like all these things, like the first belly laughs, the first genuine belly laughs of my life, and being able to laugh and sit there with a group of people that are just like me and not feel judgment and not feel, not feel like everyone's looking over their shoulder or having to hold their wallet in their back pocket, or hide it from me, because that's who I was in active addiction. Everyone was afraid when I was around. Nobody wanted me around. And, it was just like these things that everyone just sat here and, primarily I was that person that you raised your children not to be. Really who I was. So overall, there was that flame that was lit. I finally started talking about the things that I haven't talked about to anybody. There were years of trauma and things were years of trauma that I buried and buried and buried, and not a single person knew about it. And I just decided that it was time to sit here and talk about it. I had a great team of therapists that were able to sit here and talk to me and be able to really just pull it out of me and make me feel comfortable talking about it. primarily, even after treatment, it was hard for me to stay sober that time. I winded up relapsing and went back to New York on a cross country trip from Utah. Yeah, so I came out here to treatment in Utah, and the best decision I feel like I didn't make for myself that my therapist and support group made for me was wanting me to stay out here. So that's really what I feel like is a huge thing of mine. Relocation is something for me that I really am super super like I really Geez, I'm drawing a blank. No, I really think relocation's super important for recovery, but I mean, not everybody's story is allows that. But for me, that's what really happens for my recovery. It didn't really start to happen until I was able to get myself out of New York and be able to be around a whole new support group. And I didn't even have a support group in New York. Yeah, so ultimately, you know, talking about those things that I didn't talk to anybody about, like, I mean, I remember telling a therapist one time that I was super comfortable living at rock bottom, that's it, like, I mean, I was okay living in this state of mind. So yeah, ultimately it just started to become easier when I started to talk about the things and really just surrender to me. I mean, I'm a big 12-step guy, and being able to sit here and um, I'm a big 12-step guy, and being able to surrender and give my will and my life over to a God that I understand is super important. You know, early recovery was something just extremely stressful for me. I mean, I thank God I had an amazing support group to get me through it, but even in early recovery, I wasn't 100% sure of if I wanted to do this or not. Um, I mean, it's really just generally it's hard. Early recovery is hard. I was working a job washing cars at a car dealership. On top of that, doing treatment 4 nights a week for 3 hours a night, and trying to maintain going to meetings and being able to still somehow have a social life on top of that. So, I mean, it was definitely super hard, but I really give it, even today, like, I mean, I really give my recovery all to my support group. It's primarily all of my support group that is really here, that has really picked me up and carried me to this point. Yeah, I've done some hard work myself. Yeah, but for me, it wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for the connection that I had to everybody around me. Primarily, connection, I mean, on all aspects of things, being able to sit here and connect to a God, people, addicts in recovery, being of service to people. I mean, it's something that generally, there's been so many things that I've sat here and have implemented in my recovery that work. Like in early recovery, some things that I can really sit here and tell you, like, pray. I mean, I am a super spiritual guy today because that I have a God that I understand and I know is there for me. So I know a lot of things that scare you away is that God aspect of things. So anybody in early recovery. So it's just like one thing that I sit here and I emphasize that it's been a huge core difference for me in my life. That is that understanding of a God. Being able to turn my will and my life over every single day. Because of the fact that, like, I mean, I need something to get me out of myself. Like, I mean, my best thinking ends me up in a chair in treatment, in prison, in jail, and psych wards, and all these places. And it just becomes this point where, like, I need help from the support group around me. God's my number one. I have an amazing support system now of everybody. A lot of people that are in my corner. It's so funny. I sit here and I even say it to this day that I don't make any major decision by myself. I always have a group of about 5 people I go to, and I ask them for the support on bigger decisions. And I sit here and I laugh, and like, my vote's not important anymore. I don't know what's best for me. I don't. So I need to sit here and I need to be able to share that with somebody else and be able to bounce my amazing, I think, amazing ideas off of somebody, and it sounds better. So I mean, my life in long-term recovery now, like, I mean, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm somebody that is I I don't even know how to describe it. Like I'm full of gratitude. There's been so many blessings in my life today that have come from my recovery. The greatest thing for me is being able to sit here and have people that I rely on and having a support group. I'm not a taker. I used to take from everybody around me. Being able to sit here and say that I am a pure giver. Like I give. I'll give you the shirt off my back and then buy you five more shirts. It's generally speaking, it's like being of service to all human beings is something that's super important to me. So just like being a giver, like my life's beautiful today. Like I sit here and I can, I can be the person that I thought I was for so many years and actually implement it. I could sit here and I could say that I am a good son. I sit here and I could say like I'm a good friend, I'm a good family member, like I came into recovery with no family. Now that I have a boatload of family that happens to not be blood, but that's my family, like generally overall, it just becomes like, like I've made these things and created this support group. Got a million texts. I made this support group of people around me that support me and want me to do better and want to push me to strive and be the person that I know that I am, because the only thing that's stopping me right now is me and my better thinking, I mean, and there are times where things are rough, things get scary. My thoughts get the best of me, but ultimately I know today that I know that I need to get out of the way, let God take the steering wheel, and really be able to navigate through my life. So, I mean, like any little like tips I have for you, get involved. Like I mean, go to meetings, go to any networking events. Networking, I'm saying that because that's my job. um, go to any 12-step events. Like if they have these little events where you're going to drink coffee or do whatever, go do it. Get involved, be super involved, have a support group. It's great to be able to sit here and tell me now that like I can sit here and I could call a lot of people in my phone book when I know that I'm struggling. So like I mean, I have over 100 contacts probably that I can call and they could talk me out of my best thinking or wanting to use or so on and so forth. It's not easy. I'll tell you that right now. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to sit here and say that recovery is easy. But if you're willing to put in the work, guaranteed you will come out on the other side. It's not, and it's really as somebody in recovery, all I'm really sitting here is trying to give you a message of hope and a promise of freedom. Like I can sit here and I could tell you now that things can get better, but you're gonna have to put in the work. Um, but yeah, I don't want to take up too much time here. I'm probably over the time limit to begin with, knowing me. I love talking, but once again, I'm Steve Novelli. I am a business development representative here at Wasatch Crest Treatment Services, here in Heber City, Utah. We are a drug and alcohol and underlying mental health issues treatment center. I mean, it's a great facility. It's a great program. I'm blessed to be a part of an amazing team. I've only been here a month and I already feel great. They're going to have to kick me out the front door or fire me to get me out of here. So, but yeah, primarily, I really appreciate everyone that's joined. If you really want to learn about about our treatment and our admissions process, please visit our website and wasatchcresttreatment.com, or give us a call on our 24/7 line. And if there's anything that I could do, please reach out to us. I promise you, if you make that call and we're able to help you, and we'll be able to help you, whether we help you get into treatment with us or we place you somewhere else that would be a better fit for you. I'm telling you, we're here for you. We care about you. We love you. You're worth it. Give us a call. Let's help you end the misery. We're all here to lift you up and be able to help you. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. God bless. All those amazing things. Get out and vote. All right. Have a great day. I love you all.